Good morning. It's June 23rd, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. A newly studied interstellar visitor, 3I/ATLAS, sped through the inner solar system and left a chemical fingerprint that places it among the oldest objects we've observed, dating roughly 10 to 12 billion years after the Big Bang. Webb Space Telescope analyses show a chemical and isotopic makeup that points to formation in a much colder, low-metal content environment than the early solar system. 3I/ATLAS shines as one of the brightest interstellar visitors, enabling isotopic measurements that weren't possible with earlier guests like Oumuamua or Borisov, even though its exact origin within the Milky Way remains uncertain. The findings appear in Nature on June 22, 2026, with context from NASA's Webb program and international partners ESA and CSA. A complementary RXIV study cites NASA/ESA/CSA collaboration, using Webb and other supporting telescopes to deepen the chemical inventory of 3I/ATLAS. These results allow scientists to compare interstellar material with solar system bodies to understand how other planetary systems form and how common habitable light conditions might be elsewhere. The study highlights the potential for prebiotic chemistry in other systems, using 3I/ATLAS's fingerprints as a window into environments where life's building blocks could arise. Chemical fingerprints suggest the interstellar comet originated in a distant planetary system and preserved conditions favorable to complex chemistry, offering a glimpse into another galaxy's protoplanetary environment. There is no evidence of extraterrestrial technology. NASA and SETI emphasize natural explanations for the comet's properties. Astronomers anticipate detecting more interstellar objects in coming years, with facilities like the Vera C. Rubin Observatory and future missions expanding this new field of study. The discovery implies many interstellar visitors exist, and upcoming surveys and missions will likely reveal more objects from other star systems. Researchers caution that this is just the beginning of interstellar object science, with future opportunities driving deeper exploration. A new study shows Erucamide levels drop as photoreceptors die, but restoring Erucamide can activate immune cells in the retina to help stabilize neurovascular functions and slow degeneration. The work suggests this pathway does not reverse damage directly, yet it reinforces the retina's tissue-wide response to injury, offering a potential strategy for diseases like diabetic retinopathy, retinitis pigmentosa, and age-related macular degeneration. The protective effect comes from engaging CD11b plus myeloid immune cells, which then release signals that support nerve cells and blood vessels. Findings come from multiple preclinical models and were published in Nature Neuroscience on June 19, 2026, with context provided by Institutional Press and open-access original research. Human relevance is supported by detecting Erucamide in human retinal tissue and by upregulation of pro-angiogenic and neurotrophic factors in human iPS-derived macrophage precursors treated with Erucamide, suggesting translational potential. Future work aims to clarify the full signaling pathway, test Erucamide, signaling across retinal diseases, and improve ocular delivery due to Erucamide's hydrophobicity. Researchers delivered Erucamide using engineered porous silicon nanoparticles to overcome hydrophobicity, enabling stable, uniform distribution within the eye and controlled release. Delivery with functionalized porous silicon nanoparticles allows Erucamide to act on CD11b plus myeloid immune cells rather than directly on photoreceptors. The study reports that Erucamide binds to TMEM19, and reducing TMEM19 levels blocks the protective effects, indicating TMEM19 is required to activate the myeloid-mediated protective response. In short, the Erucamide pathway could slow retinal degeneration by strengthening the tissue response to injury, not by saving photoreceptors outright, offering a translational path for future therapies. A new computational approach maps long-range gene networks that coordinate to influence schizophrenia, not just nearby genetic variants. This analysis uses network-wide gene co-expression to reveal how distant variants work together, like social networks linking people across distances. Researchers analyzed genetic data from more than 102,000 individuals and post-mortem brain tissue across 6 cortical regions, identifying 641 schizophrenia-associated genes previously unrecognized. Moving beyond CIS mapping, the study shows that distant variants collectively contribute to schizophrenia risk. The work positions core pathways such as glutamate signaling, intercellular communication, immune processes, and brain development as central to risk and potential treatments. The mapped genes cluster into pathways including glutamate signaling, synaptic communication, brain immune processes, and early neurodevelopment, suggesting broad targets for therapy development. The study advocates precision psychiatry, proposing interventions tailored to an individual's integrated gene network profile rather than a single gene. Findings argue that schizophrenia risk arises from coordinated gene networks and systems-level genetic architecture. Johns Hopkins Lieber Institute and the University of Bari led the project, analyzing data from over 100,000 individuals and 6 brain regions from hundreds of donors. Unlike traditional methods focused on proximal variants, this study shows most disease involvement comes from long-range gene interactions, expanding beyond nearby associations. A new study maps how fat tissue communicates with other organs across metabolic states, showing fasting, inflammation, and obesity reshape signaling networks in visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, the liver, and B lymphocytes. Researchers used an optimized proximity labeling approach in mice to enrich tagged proteins and separate rare signals from complex tissues, enabling detection of low-abundance messengers. The work identifies distinct state-specific networks for each metabolic condition, positioning fat tissue as a central humoral hub in metabolic regulation. Among newly identified factors are fat-derived messengers like gamma-synuclein and MTR1L, whose levels shift with metabolic state, highlighting novel adipokines linked to obesity progression. The team, including Ekaterina V. Vinogradova, Ken H. Lowe, Jeffrey M. Friedman, and Paul Cohen, reports in Cell Reports, 2026, that the platform traces both signaling messages and the production machinery, offering insight into how endoplasmic reticulum protein folding stress adapts under metabolic or inflammatory conditions. The method demonstrated applicability across tissues, metabolic states, and immune cell types, with plans to extend to brown adipose tissue, exercise-related signaling, and broader immunology contexts. Cross-referencing UK Biobank data links 65 identified proteins to diseases such as type 2 diabetes, obesity, hypertension, coronary artery disease, heart attack, stroke, atrial fibrillation, and sepsis, suggesting potential biomarkers or targets. Beyond individual messengers, the work establishes a broad framework for in vivo organ-to-organ signaling discovery, with potential to uncover new pathways, biomarkers, and therapeutic targets across metabolic and cardiovascular diseases. The refined proximity labeling platform in genetically engineered mice maps production in the endoplasmic reticulum and traces proteins to their cellular origins, producing a detailed atlas of fat liver signaling networks and how inflammation or obesity drives changes. A single 100 microgram dose of DT-120 delivered as an orally disintegrating tablet produced meaningful reduction in depressive symptoms 6 weeks after treatment, with a 13.3-point MADRS difference versus placebo. By week 12, the difference stood at 11 points, showing sustained benefit with some waning. In a 149-participant trial across 20 sites, DT-120 outpaced placebo on the MADRS scale, with notable gains by week 6 and higher response and remission rates, 35% versus 7% for response, 12% versus 3% for remission. Definium Therapeutics says the top-line Phase 3 result signals strong efficacy in major depressive disorder. The company noted rapid and durable relief that may be achievable with a single treatment rather than daily therapy, after an initial double-blind phase followed by 12 weeks of monitoring. Outside experts will review the data, and Definium aims for FDA Breakthrough Therapy designation to speed review, contingent on a second Phase 3 trial, Ascend, and its open extension phases. DT-120 is being explored for generalized anxiety disorder as well, with Phase 3 results anticipated later this year, while Ascend results remain pending. If validated, the treatment could shift how depression and anxiety are managed, pending regulatory review and corroborating trial results. The trial design included a single-dose approach and follow-up over weeks, emphasizing rapid onset and durability of effect. Definium's strategy hinges on robust results from the ASCEND trial to support a breakthrough designation and potential expedited review. This has been your daily brief in science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.